Well, good morning, everyone. This is Ha with Happy Strong You, and we have Melissa Lozano, right? Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know much about you, so I apologize. That's the reason why I want to get people on, so I can get to know people within the community as much as we can, especially during this time. I figure it's a great opportunity to get to know people. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been jiu-jitsu, belt level, all that great stuff.
Okay, so I live in Houston, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu about 7 years, maybe 8. It's hard to tell with the pandemic. Time is kind of slow, so I'm not really sure. I'm a 3-stripe purple and
Nice.
mother of 4. I've got one kid in grappling, one kid in wrestling, and another in taekwondo. So we're kind of a family of martial artists, and those are like the most interesting things about me at the moment.
So that's awesome. Mother of 4. So who's your coach over there before I forget?
Oh, Travis Took. Professor.
Okay, cool.
He's amazing over at Team Took.
What's up, Tim Took? Travis Took. What made you decide to we have Opoku on. He actually, thank you, Opoku, for referring me to get Melissa on, stay connected. So what made you decide to get in jiu-jitsu?
I was actually very much into the martial arts. I had trained in Muay Thai for a long time. I even had the opportunity to train under a crew in Malaysia for 4 years, so that was pretty amazing. And I really loved it. It's a good sport.
You say crew as in Muay Thai?
As in Muay Thai.
Okay, so you did Muay Thai?
KRU.
Yeah. I just want to make sure. So Muay Thai out in Malaysia, huh? Tell us about that experience. How's Malaysia?
Yeah, that was kind of amazing. My crew is Kumeng Yang. He still trains. He owns and operates a gym out there. He was in the first UFC fight house in Malaysia. So that was really cool. And so we got to train under him and watch him try to work his way up the ranks to become the ultimate fighting champion.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's the culture out there?
Oh, it was really cool. I picked up a couple kids out there. I got a daughter who we adopted out in Malaysia. I had another one that I had out there. It was just super diverse. Like all the major religions were celebrated. We were having holidays every single month. A lot of diversity. I really liked it.
Yeah.
You froze on me again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
If we freeze and you can hear me, I'm going to have to kind of look down and read the caption because on my phone. And then hopefully while you're talking, it'll delay on my side. If that happens, I can read the caption.
Okay.
On here.
Every single month.
Hold on. Let me turn this down. And okay, go ahead and start talking.
Yeah, so Malaysia was just a great training experience. They took it very seriously, and of course Thailand was just a blip away. So there were a lot of opportunities to go into camps. But Muay Thai was very physically hard on my body, and I was diagnosed when I was 37 with breast cancer. So I had to go through the whole bilateral mastectomy, and I wasn't willing to take a rib shot after that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so jiu-jitsu was always one of those things that I always saw people doing at the gym. I was kind of turned off to it for a while because of the proximity. So my engagement with jiu-jitsu was it was like 4 or 5 years in coming. But I did come around to it after my surgeries as a way of reclaiming my body and getting some of my strength back. And now I'm kind of one of those junkies who can't live without it.
That's awesome. So tell us about, so you were diagnosed with, you say breast cancer?
Mm-hmm.
How was that process for you? I'm not sure what's your age right now and when were you diagnosed?
I'm 44.
Okay.
Cool. I was diagnosed at 36, had the mastectomy at 37. So I was pretty young.
What was your I guess, experience or what was running through your emotions, your mind when you found out about that?
It wasn't fair. It
Yeah.
wasn't fair. I worked really
Because that's a young age.
Yeah, and I was working really hard at being physically strong and mentally strong and feeding my body properly and treating it the way it deserved to be treated. And so I felt like I put a lot of emphasis on being a very healthy person. And then I had this genetic component that was still working against me, and it felt abysmally unfair. So I think there was a lot of anger associated, with it. The healing process physically was harder than it should have been. I ended up in a state of necrosis for over 9 months. So there was almost that, Jesus, if cancer didn't get her and reconstruction didn't get her, there's a chance that a small bacteria infection might. So it was just constantly illuminating over me. And it was really just, you know, didn't seem very fair, but I came out the other side of it, came out really strong, angrier than I should have been. And I had a lot of encapsulated strength that I needed to sort of let out. Otherwise, it was going to be destructive. And jiu-jitsu is one of those places where I found an outlet for it. And I'm super glad I did, because it really did change my ability to process emotions, my ability to deal with some of the physical shortcomings that I was left with. And it gave me an avenue for building more, like building more. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was kind of like my next question. I'm like, what were some of the life lessons you're learning during that process? So yeah, and jiu-jitsu seemed to help you cope through that and manage that. That's very good.
Life lessons. I mean, life lessons learned, like, there's no time for trite. Like, small problems are small problems. Like, put them on a shelf, deal with them, move along, right? Unless it's a soul sacrificing issue or something that affects your immediate family or health. Everything else can be shelved or managed. And if you can't manage it inside your head, if you can't figure out a way to index it, then it becomes your job. You got to do that. That's your job. That's on you. That's not on anybody else.
That's definitely a great point, especially during nowadays with a lot of things going on, COVID, and we have to find ways to, especially if your life is on the line, you don't really think about those little petty stuff or anything.
You just figure out a different place to put it. It's not the priority. And I think the pandemic has done that for a lot of people. Personally, I didn't get sick, and I don't know anybody who's gotten sick with COVID, but I do understand the insecurity of job loss, of furlough, of prioritizing, of feeding your kids, of the delay in the unemployment check, and all of that surrounds it. Those are real issues.
How have you been able to work through all that? Because tell us, what do you do for a living?
I work at Lifetime Fitness, so we were definitely furloughed. We maintained our benefits, which was my number one priority. Right. So I really feel like Lifetime Fitness treated us really well. I went in at the first phone call back. So I've been working for a couple of weeks. The gym is cleaner now than the inside of a hospital, I can tell you, because everything's sprayed down with Virucide, and people are taking a lot of precautions, and they're finally stacking their own weights. I love it. People are cleaning up after themselves.
That's the silver lining.
It is. We've adopted really thoughtful behaviors. So I empathize with everybody who says that they're struggling, because for smaller business people, and I consider myself a small business person, even though I work for a gym, because I'm responsible for maintaining my own client base. We're starting at zero again. We're starting at zero. And so that's a little bit unnerving, but it forces you to be in a mindset of positivity and just keep the wheel spinning at this moment.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how you say you have 4 kids. So how are you able to run the house with 4 kids?
With an iron fist.
Muay Thai iron fist. Give them the ground and pound. That's another thing. I want to show your video of you grappling your son. So
man, That kid was in my weight bracket for like 3 months, and then he outgrew me. I was so excited. He hit 145. He hung out there for about 3 months, and then he jetted. So, no, running the house is exponentially easier for me now than it would have been like 5 years ago, because my kids are pretty independent at the moment. Obviously, the schooling was an issue because they flock like wild cats. They just kind of disappear on me. But they're staying pretty focused. We have a vision board that we switch up. We've got one long-term vision board and a short-term vision board. So the long-term vision board doesn't really change much. It's just a reminder of where we're at and what our goals are, and that we can still be working on them during quarantine. And the short-term vision board changes weekly, and it's usually my vision for how you're going to work.
Love it.
Yeah, good. But we have a in-home garage training facility in our garage. So we've been training all quarantine. I haven't taken a break.
That's awesome. Let me show a quick video of play this. So
that's
44-year-old mom wrestling. How old is he?
He's 15.
That's crazy. So how many moms gets to grapple with their teenage son or son?
He loves it. He invites his friends over to grapple with me.
I love it. And plus you're on hardwood floor, which is makes it even like street fight like, you know?
That's an optical illusion. Those are zebra
really?
mats, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Those are 1-inch zebra mats. It's actually a yoga. It's a
okay.
A yoga mat.
That's pretty cool on that.
Yeah. So I know it looks really badass, right? Because it looks like I'm a street fighter, but I'm not.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm gonna brag on that kid for a second. So this is his first year in high school wrestling. He was a freshman last year, and he was just awarded most outstanding JV wrestler.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats to him. That's amazing. So he gets to. So is he teaching you wrestling, or you teaching him wrestling?
Well, I mean, sometimes we'll go wrestling against jiu-jitsu, and that doesn't really work very well for me because I feel like I'm getting out of something like a cradle, and actually I'm just pinning myself.
Yeah.
I forget. Like my objective still is like, to scramble out from underneath him, and sometimes in the process of doing that, I'll be like, boom, both shoulders on the ground, man, you're out.
But it's an advantage though, learning how to grapple with a wrestler, I think, because it makes you learn their pressure, their different movements, different positions. It's just another way to learn to anticipate their moves and so forth. Problem solve through wrestler pressure.
Well, he's definitely made my sprawling game better because I can't take his double leg blasts, man, or blast doubles, whatever he calls them. His blast doubles. I can't take them. I have to sprawl on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we do have a few questions from Apoku because he's got a bunch of questions. So we're going to give him the floor for a little bit.
All right. Hi, Apoku.
Good morning. So you grapple your top game pressure. Was amazing. Can you tell us about your top game?
Oh yeah. So I've had a couple of knee surgeries, one on the left and one on the right, both for the ACL, meniscus repair, all that kind of stuff. And so you have two?
Yeah, twice, both on my right knee. So
man.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I actually, I don't know if I actually competed. So I had my second time when I heard it, it was like 2 months before Nogi Worlds. And so I was like, I didn't want to diagnose it because it would have probably changed my decision. But I said, if I can rehab myself just enough where I can feel like I was able to protect my knee and still compete, I was going to do it. Because I was thinking, if I ever get hurt on the street, I have to find ways to maneuver while I'm injured or hurt. And so that was my mentality of going. And so I ended up going and competing with I didn't know it was a torn ACL and meniscus.
Yeah.
I didn't know afterwards until I was, diagnosed with it afterwards because I knew. it was probably going to be that. But I went and competed, and I ended up getting second. So I lost in the finals. I lost in the finals by like an advantage. So I was that close.
Nothing's worse than an advantage loss or a ref's decision. And my condolences on that. Knee surgery is nothing. Forget that.
Yeah. So tell us about yours.
So I tried to rely a little bit less on my legs than I do on my knees than I do on my upper body. It was a way of compensating for what I consider to be a weak spot. But a poker, don't be confused because I don't feel weak there anymore. But I kind of consider when I'm in a top pressure position, it's really funny because I like to snuggle a lot. I'm a really hard snuggler. And so for me, I really enjoy that type of close comfort, even if it's making somebody else feel uncomfortable. And jiu-jitsu is the only legal platform to do that in.
Love it.
But I was working it really the shoulder pressure to sort of compensate for the fact that my knees were more wanky.
Gotcha. Yeah, competitive snuggling for sure.
Yeah.
Tell us about your adoption process, how your kids relate to your daughter.
Oh man, she's like the little mama at the house. So I've got 3 boys who are all older than her. And then she's like the youngest, but like the most intuitive, soul reading of all of them. So she's very much in alignment with her brothers. She challenges them in a way they don't challenge each other, and I think it's good for them because they're learning how to communicate with a woman in their peer group. You know, I call her a woman because she's 12. Are you 12? Yeah, she's 12. So she's closer to woman than girl at this point, somewhere in between. But it forces them to communicate, you know, with each other and to have a different sort of relationship. Like my boys are very tactile with each other, and so it forces them to have more verbal communication. But man, they guard her. I tell you what, that poor child, I feel really bad for her. All 3 of her brothers are black belts in Taekwondo. She is 2. So she's got 3 brothers who are black belt in Taekwondo. She's got 1 brother who's going for state this year in wrestling and a world champion for mother. So yeah, I can't mess with that.
Is she pretty competitive amongst them, the brothers? She's feisty.
She's feisty. She's lean. She's fast. I mean, she's gonna be one of those girls. Just shake your hand and jump your guard in the same moment. So she's just feisty. Like her name is good. She's gonna have a name someday. I don't know.
Is she have a nickname yet?
I don't know. What do we call you? We're gonna come up with something, but it's gonna be something ironic. Like it'll be like sloth.
Sloth?
Yeah, we're gonna come up with like a totally ironic nickname.
That would psych out other people's her opponent. That would psych out her opponent.
Yeah, for sure. Slug. Slug.
Fiery slug. Sub-Zero on there. So cool. As far as you recently had surgery. Tell us about your what you had done and therapy process, how you're recovering.
Yes, I had surgery 2 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks ago. I'm counting the days. It was the final stage in my breast reconstruction. I'm super excited about it, except, you know, and when I talk about it, people have a tendency to compare it to a breast augmentation, and it's not like that at all. You know, they had to relay the muscle, they had to reconstruct the wall. They added some allografting to add dimension where I didn't have it. So it was a pretty major surgery. The recovery process is a little bit longer than it would be with a standard, you know, breast augmentation. Is that what they call it? Surgery? Because it is, I do have to incorporate external appendages like allografting into my own DNA. So it takes a lot of cellular development, it takes a lot of more calories than I'm accustomed to eating in a day. I have to keep my calorie levels up, and I have to train like this because I'm not allowed to have any sort of pectoral engagement.
Wow. So
I'm still
the cool thing, you get to eat a lot of calories, so that's a cool thing.
Yeah, well, I have a tendency to put weight on pretty easily, so I'm not excited about that. But I'm using weight as a lever right now to help me in my recovery, because I think recovering is more important, and definitely has much longer term impact on my life than the few extra pounds at the moment. Ah, you froze on me again.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Cutting. So the next question we have is it's not pulling up, but you've won Pans and Worlds, correct?
Yes.
That's awesome. What year do you?
The years. Okay, I'm such a bad numbers person. 2016. Oh man, if I get it wrong, don't get mad. 2016 on Worlds. 2017, double gold at Pan Am's, and 2018 gold in the weight bracket. I think I lost her.
Can you hear me? Okay. Let me see if I can read the caption if you can hear me. I'm hoping. Sorry, I think I lost you. Sorry, everyone. The internet's not playing nice today. So I know. Hold on. Let me see if I can get her back on. Okay. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Poku, that you can hear me. But I don't see her back on the screen. So maybe she can pop back on. Sometimes the internet just doesn't play nice. And so I'm having to troubleshoot on there. Oh, crap. Okay, good. All right.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, sometimes the internet doesn't play.
Did you miss it?
Yes, I was like freaking out. Sometimes the internet doesn't play nice, so yeah. Hopefully, we can hear us. But yeah, talk about your what year did you? You might have already said it, but I missed it. What year did you win Pans and Worlds?
Okay, so I'm terrible with dates, but I think the Worlds was 2016. That's next year, 2017. I took double gold at Pan Am's, and then another gold 2018, and that was 6 months to the day after my reconstructive surgery on my ACL, MCL, and meniscus. That was like that was such a good experience for me.
See here.
Oh, she's out again.
I'm back on. Let me see if I can
There you are.
Let me see if I can. Let's try this a little bit longer. If it cuts out again, I might switch to my hotspot on my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, so I think the Worlds was 2016, double gold 2017 in Pan Am's, and 2018 I took the gold at Pan Am's in my weight bracket, and that was 6 months to the day after my ACL surgery.
So, I ended up switching to hotspot, so hopefully that should be better on the connection over
There
here.
you are. Okay.
Okay. All right, I switched over hotspot. Let's just pray it stays connected. Go ahead.
Pan Am's, okay. So 2016, I took the gold at Worlds. 2017, gold in weight bracket and absolutes at the Pan Am's. And then 2018, I'm actually more proud about that than anything else, was took gold in my weight bracket, but that was 6 months to the day after my ACL, MCL, and meniscus surgery.
Oh, wow.
I know. I know. 6 months from the trifecta. Yeah.
That's crazy.
My surgeon, my orthopedic surgeon, was all like, "You're never going to be able to train again. You're probably going to have to hang up your competitive belt and all of this." And I was like, "Man, I'm going to show you this year. I'm going to win the Pan Am's." And he was
awesome.
like, "When is it?" Yeah. I was like, "It's in March, dude." He's like, "Nope, you're not doing the Pan Am's."
You show them. Congrats to you. That's yeah. Well, that's a amazing experience and process that you will forever learn from, and then you can teach others about, because you know it's a life lessons in itself. So that's great.
Yeah.
So how many hours did you put in to accomplish that goal?
Oh, I mean, you know, when people ask me how many hours I put into like any belt level, I couldn't even begin to guess, because my whole lifestyle revolves around training. You know, like I work a split shift at my job so that I can train midday, and work at, what is that, like an hour and a half, 2 hours every day, and then every competition class every Saturday. That's 6 days a week. Sometimes I'll have to work in dentist appointment for my kids or a doctor's appointment, but I'm always trying to figure out how to get that done around the training. And even when physically I'm not capable of doing the training, I'm still working abs or cardio or legs or whatever. I mean, it's like, honestly, I feel like training is a part of something you do every single day, so that every single day you have an escape from all of the stuff that's really hard. Life's hard. You need to train.
Oh yeah, that's a great habit to have, and that's actually a good way to put it, is, you know, being able to help you escape from all the madness, the craziness that's happening, for sure.
Don't you find you're nicer when you train?
Oh yeah, for sure. So whenever I transition to more, I'm also a personal trainer myself, more on a rehab specialist side. And so I've been transitioning more for online. And so I've noticed when I'm more online, like this whole, like I had to spend like a whole day. My husband was forcing me, "Oh, you got to get this done. And I was like behind the computer the whole day. And I was like grumpy. I was like, can you imagine? I'm like, no wonder people behind the desk and behind the computer can be grumpy, because there's no, like, they can't get up. There's no activity. And so I was like, I got to get up and do something, you know, move around, get my exercise in, go outside. So I can tell when I lack it, I just get irritable when I lack it. So,
yeah. And then those same people get in a car and deal with traffic. I mean, I think that combination for me would just be explosive. You know, like really high props to them, because working is hard, life is hard. Like the whole life, like that's hard. You know, a lot of people are still prioritizing their health and getting that physical release. And high props.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I see it. I see it because my husband, he's one of those people that just works almost hardly ever sleeps. Let's just say that, especially nowadays. So I see it behind the scenes. And so yeah, it is hard. Mad props to him. I used to work hard, but he works hard like 4 times harder than me. So I'm like, that's just amazing. So what is behind your Empower? What does M stand for?
Oh, Empower. It's actually my name's. My name.
Oh,
Melissa
okay.
Renee. Like, it's a combination of what I am and what I stand for, who I am, and the MR, Melissa Renee. That's my given name. Pow is obviously the Pow.
Yeah, love it.
Yes. So, and it sounds phonetically like empower, which is exactly what I want to do to people.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, definitely. It's to the point, but it has all these different meanings, like 2, 3 different meanings to it. That's great. I love it. I'll definitely when we get off, message me where people can find you. That way I can plug it in onto the description. Make sure we get that. Tell us about your. So it sounds like you've always had, and I could be wrong. You've always had like this competitive mindset. You don't really shy away. You don't. Have you ever gotten a nervous or anxiety right before you competed, or tell us about your mindset?
Oh yeah, if you're not getting nervous, you don't want it. Honestly, I tell people I don't understand people who can walk into a competition with the assumption that they won. Life doesn't work like that. I honestly feel like if you're not nervous, it's because you don't want it. You should go through all of the feelings of anxiety. You should feel, you should question your own strength against somebody else's. You should rely on skill. You should feel comfortable in the fact that everything you know at this point is now autonomic, right? But you should really hope that on an autonomic level, your body and your mind are responding in a way that you've been training them to do. But yeah, everyone gets nervous for sure. Hey, put him outside. Sorry, that's my dog. He's so big. He sounds like yeah, but no, I think everybody should be nervous when going into competition. You should have that heightened level of awareness. That's an indicator that your parasympathetic nervous system is working. If you've taken something to like dull that response, you can also rely on the fact that your reflexes will be hindered. Like you should fall into, at least on an internal level. You don't have to look like it externally, but on an internal level, all Richter should be firing.
Gotcha. So tell us about your jiu-jitsu game. How would you describe your jiu-jitsu game other than the top pressure?
I feel like I feel like I'm very methodical, and I'm like a bulldozer, right? Like I like to feel people lose their ability to defend under pressure. I almost like if you're losing your breath, I'm getting more. I feel very much in tune. Like if you're giving up some energy, I'm absorbing it. I like that. There was one time I got stuck in a triangle. It was so tight because she's a beast. I love competing, and I was literally starting to choke on my mouthpiece. And the only reason why I didn't tap was because I heard her, like that sound that people make when they just can't hold on anymore. Like, she was like squeezing under the weight of it, and it was working because I was turning purple. And I just thought to myself, like, I bet I can make her give up before me. And she kind of like released just enough for me to get that last breath, like that last inhalation, and I got up and passed because she was tired. But I honestly thought like two people who are really suffering, like both of us are ready to quit. I bet I could just hold on for 1 second more.
I actually had I had a similar experience too. I was stuck in a triangle too when I was a white belt, and I was like, there was that point where I was like, I can feel it. I was like, okay, she sounds like she's getting tired. So it's a matter of who's going to, give up before the other person. So I managed to get out. And then there's that defeat when it was like, oh crap, she got out. And so she exhausted all this energy. And so it's just my turn to pounce. And so I ended up winning by points. But yeah, I totally understand that. That's awesome.
I was angry at her after that. Man, I tell you, she went down, but my pass looked amazing because it looked like I got up and I just like dropped heavy, all this pressure, but I was actually catching my breath. I was like, it was like, wow, she's so technical, she's so strong. She just hung in there, and I was like, if you knew what was happening inside my head, I was like just barely holding on. Yeah, I collapsed on her. It was amazing. It was lucky.
So what would you say is like one of your most memorable moments within jiu-jitsu?
Oh, I can tell you in a competition when my most memorable moment was. It was Pan Am's night 2017, and it was the absolutes bracket, and I was up against Stacy Councilman, who is an amazing athlete. You got to interview her.
Okay. I don't think I'm connected with her, but if you can connect us in a way, I would love to interview her. So
she's such a great athlete and a phenomenal person. And we were going up against each other. I think it was that match. I want to say it was Stacy Councilman. Yeah, it was. And so so we paired in the absolutes, and I remember saying to my professor, like earlier in the trip, because it was out in Los Angeles, or Irvine. I said to him, I was like, listen, if I win the absolutes, I'm gonna get the number 1 place for blue belt. Like I'll be the number 1 ranked, like in the world. And he was like, well, then go win absolutes. And so into Pan Am's like with the idea that I'm just gonna slay my bracket, I'm gonna go into absolutes, and I'm gonna win absolutes. And I get there, she's not in my weight bracket, and she's a little bit intimidating to look at, and she's super solid. And it was coming down to like the last 12 seconds. We were head and head, and we were like square up even on points. Like I think it was like 0-0 with each of us having 1 advantage. And I could hear in my corner, they started to make a lot of noise. They were all up in there. And the Hibiro team was loud. And I look up, and Shanji's there, and Saulo's there, alongside my coach. And they're like, you just do this thing. And they're yelling at me, and they're screaming my name, and they're getting everybody pounding. Like, everybody's pumping the floor. Everybody's pounding. The last 10 seconds, I sweep Stacy. She jumps right back up on her feet, so I don't get any points for it. And then I hear my professor in all of this crazy noise saying, do it again. And I thought, that didn't make sense because I didn't get anything for the first one.
Uh-huh.
And so I did it again. It was just like a regular carpet sweep thing. Did it again. She jumps back up and the buzzer rings. And everybody started pounding because I won solely on grit at that point. But I look over and there's a wave of yellow. Everybody making noise for a minute. Like for that one moment in time, everybody knew who I was. I felt like everyone was in my corner. I had some of the biggest names in jiu-jitsu there. And I looked over at my coach and he said, you did it. You're number 1.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Thank you for taking us through that journey. That's like an awesome moment right there to live with. That's perfect.
And there's no footage of it to prove it. I can't go back in and prove it. I'm Googled it. I don't know. I've gone into Pro Grappling. I've looked for it so many times.
So that's one thing that I actually recorded my memorable moments because my husband, he's able to record it and zoom in and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my advice. If you have someone that's able to record all your matches, as much as you can, record them.
I love that big moment. It's here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect. Question, how do you get more women interested in jiu-jitsu?
You have to be a good person. You have to have like a really good persona. I feel like sometimes the things that turn women off to jiu-jitsu is some people in jiu-jitsu, and I feel like it happens quite a bit. I don't know if it happens with men because I'm not on that side of the coin, but a lot of women like to be the alpha and they do some chest pumping, and it's almost like when another woman walks into the gym, they're sort of intimidated by it versus being just super receptive and open. Like I love to see a woman walk into the gym because I always think like she's either going to make me better or I'm going to make her better, or it's going to happen both ways. But just be a no drama person. Just be a no drama person. You know, live the lifestyle. Be emblematic of your sport. If you walk around cranky and aggressive, you're not really going to attract people into that platform. But if you feel self-confident and you exude that kind of energy that comes with being comfortable in your own skin and having a level of physical competency, you're going to draw women to you. Like, women are going to like you. You have to be a woman who likes women.
Yeah, for sure. Great points. Definitely great points. Appreciate that. Do you plan on opening up your own gym someday?
So I did have my own gym. I ran my own gym for about 3 years, and I loved it. But it was very taxing on me personally. I have 4 kids, and I always found like I was missing their choir auditions, or I was missing their live performances, or somebody got stranded at school. I would have to find somebody else to go pick them up. So it was very taxing for a mother of 4. It was a hard lifestyle balance. To be completely honest, if I continued running my own gym, this pandemic would have shut me down. I never would have been so far ahead of that 8 ball.
Yeah.
In at the pace that I was going to maintain it. So, that's one of the reasons why I did not stop my memberships or subscriptions to the Taekwondo gym that my son goes to, or to my own training facility, because these businesses really depend on our support. They have to stay open.
Yeah.
They have to stay open. To look at it as a month by month thing means that your practice is very short sighted. You have to consider it like, this is an investment in my future and the payback is coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it is.
And that's something that hopefully during these times, it's like people are figuring out what they need to do next time, or during the times to help them prepare if another pandemic hits. People are starting to go online. They're starting to do it more at home. If you have space at home, you're able to get a few people going, within CDC guidelines and stuff. So stuff like that. But yeah, definitely show some compassion for people who are struggling nowadays during these times, for sure. So we're gonna start to conclude. What would be like a positive mantra, quote, or a message you would like to leave for others today?
So I think the positive mantra that I say to myself all the time is, this is what winning feels like, right? If I feel uncomfortable or nervous or insecure or underprepared, right? This is what winning feels like. It's a process. Winning is an exceptional thing. It's not the norm. The idea that anybody should walk around feeling like they've got, their thumb on the pulse all the time is kind of an absurdity. Like, behind everybody who's had any sort of great achievement or accomplishment are thousands of failures to back it up. So give yourself the opportunity to fail and recognize that's part of the process of winning.
Gotcha. That's great. Great quote or mantra right there. Actually, we have one last. We're gonna do one last question for Ekane from Australia, because she tuned in. It's like the midnight hours over there. So I do have my take on takedowns. So tell me, how do you find your timing to do takedowns, especially as a shorter woman, and what works best for you? I have my take, so go ahead.
Okay, so I wish my takedown game was better to answer that question. The timing is kind of hard. I almost prefer it when somebody initiates a double leg takedown, because I can slip it into a guillotine or jump it into a guillotine. Shoulder, arm drags, obviously to work the way to the back. As a shorter person, I kind of like the hip control. You know what? Honestly, I wish I had a more strategic takedown game. Right now, my wrestling buddy, my son, is my primary partner, and I'm almost relying on his mistakes. So that's not the best piece of advice I can give you. But change up levels, playing with levels. That's what I'm trying to do, and incorporate more arm drags to the back. Because if you can get that hip control from behind, that puts you in a really advantageous position when they hit the ground, for sure. What's your take? Do you have a take?
Yeah, well, I've been working with a wrestling coach for a while, and so with me being 42 and trying to be efficient and saving my knees, and he's showing me efficient ways to, for one, understanding setups. But we're able to find setups. If we're able to find where we can do more snap downs in control of the head, snap downs. So when you're able to figure out the snap down game, you're able to control their level changes. And so if you're able to, for one, if I start to kind of maneuver them and snap them down, then they start to bob up. I'm more of a person that likes to clinch up a little bit more, because when you start to learn how to do the clinching game, there's less, you're able to
I kind of lost you.
Can you hear me?
I can't
Sorry.
hear you.
We
There
got
you go.
disconnected for a second. But I tend to do my double leg is a little bit different, is getting them more lateral on the double leg. So when I go for like an arm drag, there's that one example was if I arm drag them, they're going to want to spin. My arm drag is to get closer into distance and then go laterally to take them down laterally to the side. So that's one option. Arm drag to the lateral double leg. And then the other one is if they try to wrap behind my head, I have to show you a video. If they wrap around my head, I would posture up and then go around and be able to control their back and take them down from the back. So then going under. I like to go under and sweep because I use energy a lot too. Anytime they push me, I'll try to roll them over and sweep them, stuff like that. So, but arm drags to the double lateral leg, for me, that works. Sometimes I like to control their head. So front headlocks for someone like me, my size. And then if they start to try to guillotine myself, I learn to posture up a lot more and then circle around and control their hips and their back to take them down. Normally they're gonna, I like to control them. So if I control them in the back, I like to take them down on their hands and knees as a good partner, because I don't like to force stuff anymore. And then they end up in an internal position most likely, and then I'm able to, work from there. So just.
So I'm thinking between your takedown game and my top pressure game, we should play.
Yeah, but yeah, if I start to do some solo drills, but if I ever get to a point, and if you're interested in learning some of my wrestling game, my takedown games, because eventually I'll have to get with my wrestling coach again when all this goes away. But I'm still working on wrestling solo drills. The single leg, I don't know if you saw my video, but the single leg variation, the swing leg. Because if we can learn those movements, we're going to be a lot more efficient, a lot more comfortable, and we'll build more confidence to go into that single leg sweep movement or the single leg to double. And so I think that's the biggest thing is we ladies don't have that footwork and that movement down. And we're just like all over the place whenever we're trying to do a takedown because we're inefficient. So, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much on that.
No, I'm always interested in what the takedown game is because, my coach did a parody on me a few weeks ago that seriously put everything in perspective for me. He was comparing my takedown game to somebody in the guard, right, who would, like, every time you grab their lapel or you grab the sleeve, they just kind of backed up. And he's like, imagine how ridiculous that would be. It's like every time somebody made contact with you, you like circled out of it and backed up. Like, consider that from a guard position. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a terrible guard. And he's like, yeah, you can do that on either. And I was like, wow, that's like eye-opening. I didn't realize I looked like that to you. Now that I know, I'm going much more for the grips and for the, you know, elbow to body control on the lapel that gives me. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get back to real combat training.
Yeah, I hear you. Me too. Cool. We actually, someone on YouTube just popped in saying, love you, Melissa. So I'm not sure who that is, but some unknown fan on YouTube. Thank you for popping in on there. Yeah, I also have this broadcast through YouTube also. I don't have any followers on YouTube, maybe one or two.
We got one. That was great.
Stream stuff. So I don't care. I'm just spreading positive message out there. But yeah, we're gonna end with that. I'll tag you on, message me your where they can find you. That way I can post it in here, and then I'll tag you one of my wrestling takedowns that I was just talking about, where I was able to posture up and then go for the back and down from the back. So I'll show you the video because that was actually captured in one of my matches. So. And I drilled that over and over again, and it just happened naturally. So.
No, that's not right. The magic, see, that's what happens when you drill.
Yeah, the magic of drilling for sure on there. Well, thank you so much for coming on and working through the technical glitches with me. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, bye everyone. You'll have a good day. Also, if you haven't yet, for those, don't forget free family Zoom Jiu-Jitsu class at 2 p.m. today, Central Time, for those who have signed up. All right, everyone. You all have a good day. God bless.